Child prostitution is really one of the worst forms of exploitation in the world. When I was 14, I just heard a boy speaking about this issue of child prostitution and sex trafficking, and I thought I could do something. Minga is a youth-run charity that's dedicating to ending child prostitution and forced sex trafficking around the world. We've done projects in the Philippines, in Guatemala, and also locally right here in Boston. And we got our name from, it's a word in Quechua, which is spoken in South America, and it means like a whole community coming together and working on a project for everybody's good. So basically I just emailed a bunch of my friends and said, let's get together and have a meeting and talk about this issue of child prostitution and figure out what we can do, and maybe we can have a yard sale. The weekend of the yard sale came, and we actually raised $6,500. And so we decided to keep fundraising and to start speaking to anybody that would listen to us. We have raised $65,000 through a lot of different means, and about half of that has gone to our rehabilitation home in the Philippines. And while I was in the Philippines, I met a girl named Pamela, and she was 15 and I was 16. Then she was rescued by social workers, and she was offered a new life at this home, and that was the home that Minga had helped to fund. It's less sort of about like how she was exploited and how terrible her life was, and more that she was basically able to recover from that, and really how she was like a normal kid, and that we're really helping kids to be kids. For my future, I think that I will continue working with children and child rights in some capacity. I think that if I'm not helping other people in some way, then I'm not sure how I could be happy, so I'll keep doing that.
In 2005, the summer of 2005, I went to southern India. The hygiene there suffered and healthcare suffered, and I wanted to do something to overcome this. So I thought I would start out with the eye camps and just see where it takes me. The first thing that I kind of had to tackle was funding. So I used my senior recital as a fundraiser. A lot of my friends had eyeglass drives in their schools. Overall, we had about 300 pairs of frames. We traveled to India. We had the eye camp just 3 days after we landed in India, and we had 2 doctors from Aravind Eye Hospital in Coimbatore. A lot of the community members there, a lot of my family served as volunteers just to help everything go smoothly, and it was about 130 patients that got prescription eyeglasses. When I went in there to help them, I didn't want them to feel like I was an outsider, a foreigner. I wanted them to feel like I was one of them. Being able to speak Kannada, the local language there, really helped me overcome that, and I was able to, again, connect to the patients on a more personal level. The international community was actually really helpful in this project. The people in India, the doctors that came from Aravind Eye Hospital, that they've worked in conjunction with Lions Club before, so they have their credibility, and they knew that this is a project that they could trust. And all the medical students were served as volunteers, and it motivated me to continue working in global healthcare and to get my local community more involved, and my fellow classmates and friends and family more involved in this cause.
I'm a co-founder for Dollars for Darfur, which is a national high school challenge to raise money and awareness for Darfur. I started it with my friend Nick Anderson.
I was truly moved by sort of the volume of suffering in Darfur. Right now in Darfur, there is a lot of violence between different armed groups. A lot of civilians are caught in the crossfire, and that's what needs to end. Anna and I were very good friends all throughout high school. Anna is very interested in women's studies.
And I was doing research on gender-based violence in third world countries. So Darfur was obviously a huge topic that I was researching.
And we came up with this idea because we were seeing the social networks, MySpace and Facebook, they're becoming sort of an installation in our daily lives, but we wanted to put them to work for something that we felt would be useful for the global community.
We started just with our immediate friends on Facebook, sending them messages and encouraging them to spread the word, send it to their friends, and it just really snowballed from there.
Any high school student who saw either our Facebook or MySpace page, where they could create a profile for their school, and they could do their donations online there. There were activist toolkits and also a scoreboard of the schools, because after all, it was a competition. And at the end of the competition, there were 2 representatives from the top 10 schools who were flown to Washington, D.C.
Where we lobbied on the Hill, talked to different congressmen, and it was very, very exciting.
In the first year alone, we raised over $300,000 and have nearly $500,000 to date.
We decided to have half of the money go to Save Darfur, which promotes political advocacy within Darfur, and then we split the other half among different humanitarian organizations.
I was fortunate enough to have a chance to actually spend my last summer in Darfur, working in camps there and meeting young people around the region. We were lucky enough to sort of let the voice of young people in the U.S. be heard on this issue, and I think that's something that's really important.
My generation is also the first generation that has the potential to really end poverty within our lifetimes.
We have the determination to do amazing things, and it's happening.
Our generation has a duty to help the international community, and by helping the international community, help our own community.
I mean, all of this really just started with a group of kids having a yard sale. Like, that's it.